everyone to the information session, and thank you for joining us this evening. We just wanted to, even though it was a little last minute, but wanted to provide you an opportunity to ask some questions before the competition. We have a lot of new athletes that have never competed in the SAPSF National Pole and Aerial Championship. So we just wanted to give you an opportunity to ask any questions that you might have, and also for us to use this opportunity to share with you some information and logistics on the day. So I will start to work through a few of the agenda items. Then I will hand over to Nadine, who will take you through a few other items, and then I'll close us off with a few more. And we'll start at the beginning. And at the end of the session, we'll have some time for questions. And Tanya, you'll moderate for us just the questions and answers session. But maybe just quickly to introduce myself, and Tanya and Nadine. So my name is Amy Pietersche. You would have seen a lot of emails from me. I'm the competition organizer with the SAPSF. Then Nadine Crofts is our treasurer and our president. You also would have seen a lot of emails from her. You might have met her as well before. And then Tanya, who I'm sure you all know very well, Tanya Becker, who is our athletes representative, also an athlete and also a member of the SAPSF Federation. So with that, I'll get us started with a few items. So let's start with registration. So on your arrival at the competition on either Saturday or Sunday or both, depending on which day you are competing, if you're competing on both, you need to report for registration in your tracksuit. And you will need to bring your ID to register, and you will also be expected to sign a waiver. So at registration, we will check your tracksuit, make sure that it's within the rules and regulations. I will also take a quick photo of the front and the back of each of the studio's tracksuits. And you must be there during the registration times, designated registration times. In case that you do not show up, without a legitimate reason for not being at a registration, medical emergency, or something of that likes, you will be disqualified from the competition. So it's really important that you're there on the day during the designated registration time for registration, and that is between 8 and 9 in the morning. So it's an early call, but we have a full day, and please be there for registration. Then you have to be there in your tracksuits, as I mentioned. So all athletes must wear a tracksuit at all times, except during your performance, of course. Please make sure that your tracksuit meets all the requirements that are set out in the code of points and the rules and regulations. Again, I will check and photograph them at registration, and you can be penalized by the head judge for not complying with the tracksuit requirements or for wearing an inappropriate tracksuit. So tracksuits may only be worn with your trainers, tackies, bare feet, and socks are also permissible if you don't have time to change your shoes, for example, after your performance. But yeah, so only tackies, bare feet, or socks. No flip-flops, no funny shoes. Yeah, keep it simple. And it's also very important to note that only athletes, as well as IPSF endorsed coaches, so not necessarily your studio coach, but an IPSF endorsed coach, are allowed to wear studio or team tracksuits during the whole of the event. So at the event, only if you're an athlete or an IPSF endorsed coach, you're allowed to wear a tracksuit. And if it's really hot on the day, I think the weather at the moment goes between hot and cool, but sorry, I got muted there. So if it's really hot on the day, then you could wear your tracksuit bottoms with a t-shirt or a tank top instead of the jacket, except during the medal ceremony. So during the medal ceremony, you have to wear your jacket. Then in terms of the venue and the dressing rooms, so you will be assigned to a dressing room that you will share with your fellow athletes. There will be separate dressing rooms for women and for men. Please bring your own small mirrors, a yoga mat, some towels, snacks, water, and other supplies that you may need on the day. There are no lockers available. Please take note of that. So keep your belongings safe and leave anything valuable at home. So there are also bathrooms backstage. Please try not to crowd the bathrooms. Use the dressing room areas as far as you can. Also try to get ready at your accommodation or at home as far as you can, not to clutter up the dressing areas too much, but there is enough space for everyone on the day. And also we will designate specific bathrooms for athletes and for judges. Please take note to not use the bathrooms that are allocated to the judges, but we will have clear signage there on the day. So please just take note of that you need to keep your distance from the judges and not allowed to engage with the judges at all. So on load shedding, so yeah, we have backup power for the stage in case of load shedding. So we are covered. The show will go on despite load shedding, but please make sure to bring some emergency lights for yourselves to use backstage. We will have some emergency lights elsewhere in the venue, for example, in the bathrooms, but just in case, bring something with you to keep something small that you have something backstage. So there will also be a food vendor on site selling food and drink. So you will have access to some food on site that you can purchase there from the vendor at the kitchen at the hall. But please note that you're not allowed to bring any alcohol onto the venue, not allowed to consume any alcohol on the venue. So please just take note of that. Then I'm going to hand over to Nadine to talk to you more around test times, lighting, backstage, on stage, those types of things. So Nadine will be stage manager on the day. So she will be taking care of all of you backstage. I'll be at the front dealing with anything else that may come up. But yes, so let me hand over to Nadine for a few items. Thanks.
Hi, am I unmuted? Yes. Thank you very much, Amy. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Sorry, just another note on the load shedding. We have made provision for it, but we were just a little bit stressed about the little 4-hour stints. That's why Amy just said if you can just bring any additional lighting that you might require so that your makeup gets done properly, etc. Okay. So with regarding the test times, please note that over the 2 days, there are 72 athletes, so we are very limited with time. So all athletes are allowed to test out the equipment on the stage with their music during their allocated times. Test times are limited to 1 minute per athlete. Please just keep an eye out for the updated running order, which will be given through to everyone, but just refer to the specific one on the day, as that will be the most recent updated one. Then we also respectfully ask that all athletes adhere to their allocated times to do their run-throughs. With regards to lighting and music, your music and lighting together with your starting position will be tested on the day. The lighting is programmed on the day. So we have asked for everyone to send through their lighting choices previously to help assist the lighting and sound engineer. But please just note that he did state that some of the lighting requests have been very complex, and he will do his best to get the lighting as you have asked. Please be sure to bring a copy of your submitted music on the day. If you can, please preferably a USB stick, just for in case. With regards to backstage and on stage, please note that you need to be backstage at least 2 routines before your own performance, but please keep in consideration the real life program for in case we run a little bit behind schedule. Please remain quiet backstage. I know everyone tends to get very excited, but we're going to ask that everyone please remain quiet. A coordinator will be available to guide you. Please just follow all the instructions. Once you've taken your starting position on stage, your music will start. After your routine, you can briefly receive applause and then you can go backstage again. Sport athletes need to quickly put their tracksuits on and move to the kiss and cry area. The kiss and cry area will be visible adjacent to the stage. You won't be able to miss it. In the kiss and cry area, you will get your score. Athletes will then be joined by the audience. Athletes are then allowed to join the audience or backstage again after their performance. We have set aside a designated area for athletes. We respectfully ask that you just adhere to this, as we do have spectators that have paid for tickets. Okay. Regrettably, no persons other than athletes, IPS endorsed coaches, registered chaperones, and selected SAPSF volunteers are allowed backstage. As Amy mentioned early on, we want to try and keep it as less crowded as possible and more comfortable for all the athletes to be able to prepare for your routines. With regards to the pole and hoop cleaning, studios and teams are asked to please clean equipment for your fellow teammates. This can be figured or discussed on the day, so please don't stress too much about it. We do have volunteers. We unfortunately don't have enough volunteers, so they will be able to step in if required if you don't have anyone to clean your poles for you. But if you specifically would like someone to clean your pole for you, a fellow athlete, that is not a problem. That can be arranged. With regards to grip aids, please only use the grips that have been approved on the IPSF website. Do not use any prohibited grips. No grips may be applied directly onto the apparatus, and any grip that proves difficult to remove after your performance will be reported to the head judge. Please remember this. With regards to the hoop height, athletes were able to choose their own hoop size and height from the floor as per the rules and regulations, and these were recorded. Please note that we can't guarantee the exact height. It might be a little bit off. This will be tested prior to the time, but unfortunately we won't be able to get exact height, so there will be a little bit of a discrepancy, but we're talking minimal, and the heights that were given or the heights were approximate. Okay, then we are aware of the slight little misprint that was on the welcome pack, but I'm sure everyone knows this. The poles are 45mm brass poles. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Amy again, which will carry on with some of her important notes.
Thanks, Nadine. So Nadine mentioned who's allowed backstage. So only IPSF registered coaches, athletes, and certain volunteers, and then also the registered legal guardians or parents or chaperones. So the person that signed the parental consent form, that is the person that is registered as under 18's chaperone. So for our novice and junior athletes, and only that person is allowed backstage. Chaperones are also not allowed to sit in the kiss and cry area to wait for scores, or to wear national tracksuits, or to take part in the opening ceremony, unless they are also an endorsed coach. But also just something to note that chaperones are required to purchase a spectator ticket. So the IPSF also requires this for Worlds, and we require the same that chaperones, also human props, any accompanied person accompanying an athlete that's not a registered IPSF coach must purchase a spectator ticket. That also takes me to the athletes access. Nadine mentioned that after your performance, you're allowed to join the audience. We will have a designated athlete seating area, just to ensure that we allow space for our paying spectators on the competition day. So if you're competing on Saturday, you're allowed to join the athletes seating area when after your performance or before your performance, whenever. You're allowed to join the audience. If you are not competing on Sunday, for example, you will then be, will not be an athlete, but will be a spectator and will have to purchase spectator tickets and then can sit anywhere. Yes, so that's in terms of access for chaperones, athletes, and also human props. In terms of photos and videos, we are very happy that we again have Anna Smith that will be there taking photos of all of you and your performances on the days. And you will be able to purchase your photos from her directly. They will cost 400 Rand per set. And she will contact you directly after the competition, sending you a proof sheet, and you can then decide if you want to purchase your photos. The SAPSF will be taking videos of all the performances like we do every year, and these will be shared on YouTube after the competition. Previously, the rules have been that audiences are not allowed, or the audience is not allowed to take photos or video, but they are allowed from this year onwards. So we're very happy that your friends and family can now take photos of you, take little videos of you while you're performing. But please just take note that no bulky professional photography or videography equipment is allowed. We will be taking videos. We have a professional photographer. You're not allowed to bring in a professional photographer of your own. Your friends can take informal photos with their cell phones, but no bulky professional photography or videography equipment. And if at any stage there's interference with the organization of the event, we will ask that whoever's taking photos to please stop. So just be considerate, but you are allowed to take videos and photos. And if you do not wish to be photographed or filmed, please let me know before the competition, and we will make sure to remove you of any list for photos and videos. But we will still take a video of your performance. That's for judging purposes, for contesting purposes, and that's also that goes to the IPSF, but we will keep your video. We won't publish it publicly. Then on the opening ceremony as well as the medal ceremony. So all athletes are expected to participate in the opening as well as the medal ceremonies. So in the program, the medal ceremonies are captured as podium. Please be there for the opening ceremony as well as the medal ceremony and wear your tracksuit. During the opening ceremony, you will be introduced quite quickly as you walk across the stage, moving backstage again immediately. So we'll have a quick opening ceremony. We will likely stop for a big photo on stage as well, a group photo. But on the day, we will give you a bit more clear instructions on how the opening ceremony will take place. Then on the medal ceremony, it's very important that you're there for the medal ceremony. If you do not show up for medal ceremony, you will be disqualified and also not allowed to compete in the following years, unless again there's extenuating circumstances that have been discussed or raised with myself, with Nadine, which we then discuss with the head judge. So if you have to be at a medal ceremony, you're supposed to get a medal, you've placed, and you're not there, you will be disqualified. So please be sure to be there for the medal ceremonies, the podiums. Then ticket sales. So we're still selling spectator tickets for 250 per day and 450 Rand for a weekend pass. Tickets will be online until the end of the day, Thursday, 4 May. Thereafter, tickets will only be sold at the door, and we will take cash and card at the door on Saturday as well as Sunday. So please invite your friends and family to come support you, to come watch your show, to come enjoy the rest of the show and see both Paul and Ariel in action on Saturday and Sunday. So I did already mention about human props and chaperones needing to buy a ticket, but just to mention that if your human prop will only be there for your performance, they will come in and leave directly afterwards. They don't need to buy a ticket, but they need to sign in with the organizer before and after your performance. So if you have a human prop and they will only be there for 10 minutes, 15 minutes to help you out, then they need to sign in with myself before and sign in and sign out with myself. But yeah, so we're making that allowance. But generally, if anyone's going to be there for anything longer than 15 to 30 minutes, then they would need to buy a ticket. So just in terms of contesting, so please familiarize yourself with the contesting procedure and the rules and regulations. The agreed fee for contesting agreed with the IPSF for our competition is 900 Rand per judging section and is payable again by cash or card. And if you'd like to contest your score, you must do it within 10 minutes of receiving your score, and you must notify myself. So you need to find me. I will be there. You can let Nadine know as well if you want to contest your score. And contesting is 900 Rand per judging section. But please familiarize yourself with contesting procedure in the rules and regulations. Then just in terms of a world championship, so there's a few things that in terms of qualifying that I'm sure you're aware of, that's also in the welcome pack. So I'm not going to go through the qualifying, but it's taking place at the end of October in Poland. And we will be taking a profile photo of all elite sport and professional art athletes that may qualify for Worlds on the day of the competition. So at registration, we will be taking photos of you for your entry to Worlds if you do get invited to Worlds. So if you get invited to enter Worlds, you have to submit this photo that we're taking of you on Saturday and Sunday. And yeah, so please just take note of the entry process that may be different from previous years, and you will be also required to submit your photo, your forms, your music, your costume, your props together with your entry. So just a quick note on World Championship, but we will be communicating in much more detail with those athletes after national competition, once we know who qualifies. Then social media, again, just post on social media at SA Pole Sports Federation, and also use the hashtags SAPSF and NPAC2023. And I also just want to kindly remind you to study the IPSF Ethical Code of Conduct. And by participating in NPAC 2023, you agree to abide by this code. So please just familiarize yourself with the rules and regulations, as well as what's captured in the mid-cycle update. And yes, so that's it. Maybe two quick things that didn't necessarily fit in under any one of the agenda items. So we still need a few volunteers, particularly for Saturday evening. So if you know of anyone that's available on Saturday between 4 and 10 in the evening to help us with, particularly with pole cleaning, we'd be happy to have volunteers. Volunteers also have access to the competition for their time. And yeah, again, we also, if anyone can stay behind on Sunday evening to help us clear the hall, we would really appreciate that. So yes, that's it from me. Everything, me and Nadine, everything we wanted to go through. So we can take some questions. Thanks.
Okay, Caitlin Rawson, what is the question?
My question's for about the registration for like novice and junior athletes who might not have an ID. Do they need to bring a birth certificate, or what's the situation with them?
Okay. Yes. So the proof of identification that they submitted together with the entry to come to registration with that. And in the case of novice and junior athletes, that's usually the birth certificate. A certified copy would also be fine.
Okay, thanks.
Amanda?
I just want to know, we're coming from Rustenburg, so we won't be able really to prepare the hairs and the makeup from here. Is our hairdresser and our makeup artist allowed backstage? And then my second question is, if somebody is entered at the wrong level, maybe too low, will they be penalized, or will you just automatically move them up? Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Amanda. So in terms of the hairdresser and makeup, so no, we can't allow them backstage, but we can see maybe arrange somewhere else for you to use somewhere away from the dressing areas where all the other athletes are. So when you come in on, just check in with me and we can see what we can arrange for you. And then in terms of the level, if there's any concern about entering the wrong level, we need to address that before the competition. So please send me an email if there's anything you're concerned about, and we can address that. Thanks. I think next up is Kerry, then Katiana.
Hi, Amy. Hi, everyone. I just want to find out, so we're registering between 8 and 9 o'clock. For my particular category, I'm performing like right at the end of the day, around 6 o'clock. Do I have to stay at the venue, and for anyone else in the same situation, that whole time, or can we leave the venue and then come back closer to our performance time? Obviously, in good enough time to be there for our performance and warming up.
Yes, so after registration, after test time, you're allowed to leave the venue. Just make sure that you're there for the important things, your performance, medal ceremony, so forth. But yeah, you're not obligated to stay at the venue.
Thank you.
Katiana?
Sorry, and the welcoming ceremony.
Yes, the opening ceremony. Yeah, thanks, Nadine.
Thank you.
Katiana, you can go ahead.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so my question is also related to the hair and makeup. So Amy, do I then on the day, because I'm also competing only at the end of the afternoon, do I then come to you sort of halfway through the day to find out where I can alternatively do my hair and makeup?
Yes, so I think on Friday when we're setting up, I'll try and find a space that you can use. And yeah, so I'll let you know. So at registration, I'll be able to let you know at registration.
Okay, that's perfect. Another question is for the props. When do we need to, where do we keep them, and when do we place them prior to when we need to come on stage? So if we have a variety of different props that we want on the stage.
Okay. So all your props will be kept backstage. There should be enough space for them, so we'll keep them backstage, and then the stage manager and the volunteers will help you move them on and off stage.
Fantastic. So that will be handled when my category is up next, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, awesome. And then one more question. I've also been debating on whether to stay in the professional category or drop down to semi-professional. I'm not too sure because I'm in the artistic group. I'm not too sure what puts me into semi-professional versus what puts me into professional. So I've chosen professional, but I am worried that I'm in the wrong category.
Okay. Okay, yeah, again, just send me an email and then we can handle that. I just need to refresh myself on the procedure exactly for that, check in with the head judge. Same for you, Amanda, on that question. So please just send me an email. I'll check it with the head judge and get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you. Okay, I've got one more question. And that is related to, there was a few changes that I needed to make during this week relating to my music, which did portray violence. I changed my music and sent the updated one, of which I also needed to update my lighting because of the change of the song. And so I just wanted to confirm that all of that has been received and it's still good.
Yes, yes, we got it. Thanks,
Okay,
Katiana,
amazing.
and the new lighting. Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Amy.
Thanks, Katiana. Jade?
Hi, I also have 3 questions, but hopefully I can be succinct. My first one is, I've been keeping an eye on emails obsessively, but I don't think I've received anything about lighting requests.
Okay, so on that, Jade, I can't recall now if you're an artistic or sport athlete.
Oh, sport. Is there
okay,
only lighting for artistic?
Yes, so sport has
Okay.
standard white lighting, sport lighting, where artistic, the athletes were able to add a little bit of color.
Okay, great. Thank you. So I don't need to panic about that. My next question is, I'm starting in an aerial position, but not spinning. And I don't have any teammates with me, and I'm not even sure if they would, which is also one of my compulsories. And I'm not spinning. It's static. I'm basically just wondering, I need to get up into the hoop and then get sort of round into a quote unquote favorable position or favorable angle or whatever it is. Do you have any advice? Are we penalized for any of those little movements? Like, are you judged on anything before your official starting position? Can I have somebody come and move me into position? You know, what's the sort of protocol there?
Okay, I might ask Tanya to help with this one. But you're allowed to, if you're in the hoop, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so you're allowed to spin yourself if you need to be spinning. So you need to be spinning or you need to be still?
I need to be still, but I need to get myself like up and then into the right position.
Okay. Tanya, I don't know if you have any advice on this, or Nadine.
Well,
Yes.
my obvious advice will be for someone just to stop the hoop before performance start, but I don't know what is the IPSF rules and regulations on that. Nadine, do you know?
Sorry.
This is honestly the first time I've received such a request. I
Mm.
think, Jade, the best thing that we'll do is, I'm making a note of this. We'll just revert back to what we can do.
Sorry to interrupt. I think I know the answer to this question. I believe this is what the code says, but as far as I'm aware, it's IPSF certified coaches that have signed for the athlete as their coach that are allowed to come on stage and fix the hoop into whatever position is necessary. As far as I'm aware, I don't think anyone else is allowed, but I might be wrong on that, but that's what I can remember from the code.
Okay, great. That sounds logical. So I will just have to wiggle myself into position and hope that the judges don't look on it unfavorably.
Well,
Yeah.
I think, Amy, we can just ask the head judge also
Yes.
if maybe a poll cleaner can assist, but I know the rules and we need to stay with the rules and regulations. So
Yeah. Okay, so we'll check on that and let you know, Jade. Yeah, so I think there's a related question with chat from Kerry was yeah, so the music starts after you've gotten in the hoop and you're in the position. So that's what happens during test time. You tell the stage manager and you tell the sound engineer, this is where I am, and then you start the music. So that's what test time is for. So if you need to be spinning or static or whatever, we note that down during test time.
Okay,
and
great.
we'll figure out who can help you get in your position.
Great, thank you. Because my final question was just going to be, once you're in your starting position that you've told the stage manager, is there a specific length of time until your music starts? Like, can you count down in your head, like 3, 2, 1, or I'm just, you know, obviously don't want to miss the first beat.
Yeah, yeah. What usually happens is a quick wink or nod to the stage manager that says, okay, I'm good now. And then it will probably start within a second or two. But Nadine, that will probably be finalized during test time with yourself and Dean. And that.
Yes, 100%.
Thank you so much.
They also just note what side you're coming from, if you're starting stationary, if you're starting spinning, all of that stuff. So that will be noted before the time.
Great, thank you so much. That's everything from me.
Any other hands? I think I saw another hand earlier. Okay, yeah, so I think
see, sorry,
yeah.
I see Kerry also ask, so can we start the music after we've gotten into the hoop?
Yes, yes. So yeah, so you will figure that out exactly with the sound engineer, the stage manager during test time. So, but yes. Yeah, and then I see Gaia also has a question. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, I know our test times, like we only have 1 minute each, which is, you know, obviously not enough for the whole routine. But if the first minute of my routine is on the floor and I actually want to test things in the hoop with the music so that I can get it on beat, do I then ask whoever's handling the music to start it at a certain point, or how would I go about that?
Okay, so I'm going to jump in. Yes, you can actually do that.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions? Okay, if not, then yeah, so maybe just a last thing from me. So on the day, if you have any issues, if there's any anything that you want to raise with but yeah, any issues, please find me, find Nadine. Tanya is also our athlete representative, but she's also an athlete on Sunday. So yeah, so please, yeah, find us. We're happy to help, happy to accommodate you as far as we can. We want to make sure that you're happy on the day, that everything is in place. So yeah, we're there to help you. Please feel free to call on us at any stage if you have any questions. Yeah, we're here to help.
Yeah, do you still have a question?
Just one more.
Yeah, please ask. This is the time.
Wait. I wasn't sure whether or not to wait until the day, but I also have a makeup artist that would be coming in, but I wouldn't be able to do my makeup like in the morning or at the beginning of things because I'm only performing much later in the day. So would it be possible for you to also show me where to go, where the makeup artist would be allowed to be so that I can do my makeup before I perform?
Yes. So at registration, please just ask me or remind me again, but I will give you this information at registration. On Friday, we'll identify an area, make it, set it up for you, or just set it aside for you for makeup artists and hair artists and so forth. But yeah, so if anyone has a question about where to get anyone backstage that's not allowed backstage, please check in with us during registration.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, then yeah, so thank you all for coming. Oh, Jay, do you have another question?
Yes, sorry, I just remembered one last
Of
one. I know
course.
we have to label our flash drives with our music. Do they need to be labeled the same way we had to label the audio files that we emailed, or can we just have like our name and our? There's just not much space to write, so I'm wondering how much I need to squeeze in there.
So your audio file, if you start with your name, so try to keep the same format that you used for submitting your music. So your name, your division, your category. You can shorten it, but if you want to name your flash drive just physically on the top of your flash, you can just put your name, but your file needs to be the same as your original submission.
I'm talking about the actual label on the physical flash drive.
Oh, just your name should be fine.
Okay, great.
I don't think we'll need the flash drives, but yeah, that's really just in case something goes wrong.
Great, thank you so much.
Okay, last call. Any questions? You're welcome to ask anything, and there's no any question. Okay, no, then that's probably it. Thank you so much, Tanya, for setting up the Zoom. Nadine, also for giving us some clarity about backstage and everything, and everyone for joining. So